2023 with the Australian Opals preparing to take on world number 33 Chinese Taipei. After hosting the most successful FIBA Women's World Cup 9 months ago, Sydney has been awarded the privilege of hosting the Asia Cup for the first time, and we are glad you could be with us to watch it unfold. I'm John Casey. My co-commentator is one of FIBA's finest, a championship-winning coach in his native England and a former coach of the Great Britain women's team as well. Mark Clark, good evening to you.
Evening to you, John. Looking forward to seeing the host play at home. The atmosphere looked great last night.
It certainly was, and this is Pool B action, and it is going to be an important game in terms of the tournament. Earlier today we saw Japan win their second game, defeating the Philippines to keep their title defence on track, and it was a 95-57 win in favour of Japan. They actually put up more threes than twos in that game, and they shot it at 40% from deep, so they are travelling smoothly. And Australia at the moment looking to join them undefeated in 2 games so far as they continue their push toward the semi-finals and the middle rounds on the weekend. Australia are the highest ranked team in Pool B, and their clash tomorrow night with Japan is eagerly anticipated. So good crowd in the house as well. Somewhere in the vicinity of 1,500 to 2,000 have joined us so far. And Chinese Taipei, well, they've played twice against Australia in the past. The last Asia Cup in 21, Mark, they were very competitive. It was an 11-point win for the Australians, 76-65.
Well, it was one of those games that didn't go to script. Half-time, they led, and they're a sort of team that can score bunches, take a lot of threes, and but that was the first game in the tournament for Australia, and in some ways that's almost how you'd like to start. Get tested a little bit, get into the tournament. And if you're going to be worried at all, if you're Australia, maybe last night was a little too easy, looking ahead, as you say, to the tie with Japan tomorrow.
And Chinese Taipei, one of the mainstays of the Asia Cup competition. This is the 25th of the appearance for them out of 30 silver and bronze medalists in the past. But now for the Australian Opals being introduced to the fans here, so a good round of applause as well. They've got 3 players surviving from the World Championships here last year. They've got 5 players who own an Asia Cup medal of some description, but only 1 Olympian in Tess Madgen, their captain, who was in Tokyo in 2021, and 3 rookies playing for the first time and a couple of others playing for the first time in tournament play as well. But they could scarcely have been more impressive last night, Mark, as they really came up with an impressive win. Well,
I think the most impressive thing about them last night is that they shared the ball really well. Really look like they've actually come into this in a really prepared way. So teams get better as tournaments go on, so what a great start for them.
71-point win over the Philippines was their biggest ever in Asia Cup history. As we pause now for the official anthems and introductions here at the State Sports Centre in Sydney.
Please remain upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Well, they were impressive last night, scoring 105 points, highest score of the tournament so far, the Australian Opals. But they're going to hang their hat on defence here at this tournament. They want to finish here as the best defensive team in the competition. And, well, they certainly went a long way toward that last night when they restricted the Philippines to single digits in 3 of the 4 quarters and just 11 points after half-time mark. That was a tremendous effort, and it showed that they were sustaining what they were doing right to the finish line.
Well, the thing about defense at national team level, John, is obviously that teams have less time to prepare. If you put defensive effort on the floor and throw some things at teams, it really does challenge that team to work as a group, and that's the thing that gets exposed sometimes in national team competition. And you just love the way last night when watching the game, just to enjoy it as such, the way that they actually operated defensively. The help was good, they're in the passing lanes hard, and they asked questions. They asked a lot of questions of that Philippine team, and they just weren't capable. Now, I think this Chinese Taipei team, a lot of returning players, they've got a little bit more continuity. I think they'll deal with the pressure a little bit better.
I agree totally. They've got some good experience here, Chinese Taipei, including players who are at their 4th consecutive Asia Cup. The Australian lineup is the same starting 5 as last night. All 12 scored. They had 6 in double figures. Darcy Garvin, 18 points, was the leading scorer. And we saw Lauren Scherf with 9 rebounds as the leading rebounder. And Tess Madgen, 2 points, but a game-high 7 assists. She did her job. And the way she led the team was impeccable as well. She showed that Olympic experience that she brings to the table. And Shannon Seabohm, in his first appearance as head coach for the Opals, well, he has to get a lot of credit for the way he did his job as well.
Oh, I thought they looked really prepared. They all looked on the same page. And while they're inexperienced internationally, at national league level, and these guys, some of them playing abroad and in European competition, they've got a lot of experience for a team that looks like an inexperienced national team, unusually so.
And for Chinese Taipei, well, they're starting 5. They have made one change to the team that lost by 41 points to Japan last night, and they've Han Zhu-yi, number 2, comes into the lineup at the expense of Chung Chi-Fung, and they're actually going a little smaller than they started in that game against Japan, where it was 94-53 in favour of Japan.
Yeah, and I think, apart from Ling Yung-ting, who really did play well last night, she really did lead them points-wise, and Hyun Young Chen as the coach, she's looked to make a change perhaps, and they've gone smaller. I think that suits the way they play. They can't compete size-wise, so they'll ask a different question. They'll stretch the floor. Often 5 out is often what they're seeing. It'll be interesting to see how Australia try and deal with that against a team that does shoot the 3 really well. They weren't challenged in that way last night because the Philippines didn't do a good job shooting the basketball. This team can shoot in bunches from the 3-point line, and they're going to really stretch that defense, and it's going to ask some questions of how they're going to help them rotate.
Yes, Wu Yunshen, number 7 for Chinese Taipei, at 183 centimetres, is their tallest player.
Yeah,
Australia has 7 players superior in height to that.
Well, that's the question, though, isn't it? You don't want to change the way you play too much, but if your big kids are getting pulled out and people are making shots, it's just unusual. And that's the thing about national team competition. You get asked different questions, and this Chinese Taipei team will ask a question, especially the 4 and 5 spot for Australia. Get your feet outside the keyway and challenge the shot. Otherwise, you're going to have people knocking down 3s. Also gives you a different rebound battle because you're, again, rebounding more consistently from distance, and you're having to box out and find people away from the basket.
And so the challenge is going to be for Chinese Taipei to match it on the boards. They have been able to do it in the 2 previous occasions when these teams have met. Back in 2021, the rebound count was 54-39 in favour of the Opals, and in 2019, it was 51-21 when Australia won all 4 quarters. So we are set to go here from Sydney Olympic Park, the State Sports Centre, in the FIBA Women's Asia Cup 2023, the 4th and final game of day 2 is ready to go. Lauren Scherf wins the tap for Australia and works it to the advantage of Darcy Garvin, and now the captain Tess Madgen takes over. They were clinical in offense last night, scored inside the first 20 seconds. This is Koenig, puts it on the deck, down to the baseline. Scherf, who opened scoring last night, had it rattle around the rim and jump out.
Well, you can see the issue straight away, John, that the Taipei will switch everything. So again, it's a different challenge, got to live with that.
This is Pun. Bounce pass, finds Cheng, who shares it now with Huang Lingchen. Deep shot, opening score of the game for Chinese Taipei.
Well, and as Kunig's got to get a feed outside the keyway. You can't close out short against these guys.
Sher picks up the dribble. Garvin shares it with Magin. Puts it on the deck and stripped of it. Good defensive work now. That was done by Han. Pun, hands over. This time it's Lin who fires the leading scorer from last night, just off the mark. Magin, intelligent work. Forced Huang Lingchen into error there. Just went to a body. But I like the finish here from Huang. Confident looking stroke.
Yeah, it's well, that's Chinese Taipei basketball. Everyone's outside the keyway. They don't need a second invitation to take that three-point look.
Magin combines with Garvin, who pulls the trigger on a three. It's deep. So a chance for Chinese Taipei to expand the lead here. Lin exploring, takes on Magin, feeds baseline and shot just off the mark there from Han.
If you're Chinese, you're happy Chinese Taipei have taken every one of the looks has been open. They just have got to knock those down.
Garvin fouled here by Han Yaun. So second team foul on Chinese Taipei. Almost 90 seconds played. It took Australia 5 minutes to get their first field goal against Chinese Taipei the last time they played them. It's Magin, looks for Kunig. Good first step, good penetration. Alice Kunig gets Australia underway.
It's a super move. Caught the ball, first step, straight to the middle. Speed of the decision was the important thing, gave her the advantage.
Cheng goes back to Pun. Down baseline, double team needs help. Huang, quick pass for Han, shot clock to 3. The pass is errant. She has to go back and will have to fire from a long way. Had it on target, but the distance beyond her. And the ball out of court, the shot clock expiring in the background.
Well, a replay of that penetration down the middle by Kunig. And it was, as I say, caught it in action, carried on. And if you're chased, it's a great execution, great decision.
Nicholson found an opening, but couldn't finish it off. Disappointed with that after a slow night last evening, Lauren Nicholson. But they get it back here. Took over 2 minutes played. Australia just 1 of 4 from the field. As Magin, one way, back the other. This time gets good penetration and from close range opens her account.
Well, that's going to worry Chinese Taipei. If they're getting beat off the dribble that easily, it's one of the areas you'd have thought they would have been able to contain.
Australia on top for the first time. Han to Pun. Back to Han, good ball movement. Huang open, this time can't connect. Nicholson the rebound. Go inside Garvin with it. Wants to take it strong. And a whistle on the play as well. So free throws to come here for Darcy Garvin.
You know, straight down the gut of the defense again. And as I said, they are chasing off screens. And maybe with this lineup, the first possession, they switched everything. If they're going to chase, I think the read is going to be very similar to what you've seen on the last 2. And you've got some high IQ players here, and they're going to read that every time.
Darcy Garvin, the top scorer from last night, opens her account. Australians with a 3-point edge here. Han picked up her second foul in that play phase as well, which is a slight concern early for Chinese Taipei.
They're going to make the change. I don't think they want her to pick up the third. But as we said, right, in the introduction to the game, they're very interchangeable. They've got a lot of the same looks. It doesn't really change the makeup of the group. I am surprised that they're not switching. They do get a lot out of that, and at least it would make the Australians change and read a different option.
Shot clock to single digits here. As Lin exploring, took on Kunig, got beyond her, couldn't finish it though.
So much better Kunig though. The closeout wasn't short that time and forced the ball onto the floor.
So after knocking down their first shot, they missed their last 5, Chinese Taipei. Imagine wheeling and dealing, draws a foul. She's off to the free throw line as the foul is called on Huang Ling Cheng.
Interesting the amount of option the Australians have taken here off the dribble, trying to play one-on-one. Until the defense takes that option away and contains it. Just milk that until the defense forces you to look for anything else, because at the moment it's being so productive. Fouls or shots or made baskets.
Imagine adds to the tally. So 7 unanswered points here from the Australian Opals after Chinese Taipei had opened scoring. And the defense has been cranked up here by the Opals. Lin harassed by Koenig. Huang outside once more. Couldn't knock it down. So the shooting woes continue. Now 1 of 4 from deep, 1 of 7 overall. Chinese Taipei. Garvin gets a good look. It wouldn't work. Imagine the offensive rebound, just reaching in over the top. Is going to be called for the foul here. Second team foul on Australia. So Tess Madgen will check out, and Chyla Hill comes into the game for the first time. So seeing Han Yaun go to the bench for Chinese Taipei as they make a change as well. Pan harassed by Nicholson. Played 4 minutes in this opening quarter. Chinese Taipei, it's dried up for them at the offensive end. Again, good defensive pressure from Scherf. Chyla Hill quickly on the scene. Garvin had a good seal down low, but there was no passing lane. Scherf at the top of the key is another option for her. Kicks outside. Koenig wants to penetrate as well. She fires and comes up with the goods. They've scored 9 unanswered points at Australia.
Well, the other thing, just to highlight the thing we said before the game, Scherf had to get her feet outside the keyway, but did. And yeah, she got half beat, but she forced the shot to be under pressure. She's got to be comfortable getting her feet outside the keyway, and she really has done that particularly well. Right, like the same situation she has now.
Pan, 3 on the shot clock. Hook shot wouldn't work for her. Chyla Hill had it, reaching in from behind. It was dislodged by Liu. But the Opals are able to recover. So middle stages of the opening quarter, 9-3 is the margin. As Nicholson looks for some penetration. They left her alone and she makes them pay.
Well, if you'd have said that they were going to beat this Chinese Taipei team on the dribble at will before the game, I wouldn't have been as sure as the way they've made it look.
Turnaround finish. It's a nice look from Lin Ting. So that breaks the 11-0 run from the Opals. Scherf to Koenig. Chinese Taipei with 4 team fouls so far. Just need to rein it in a little. Rebound for Wu. And now Pan. He's been directing traffic. Lin. Pass inside. Active hands from Koenig there. Knocked down the pass. And now the Opals are running. Garvin first up the floor. And Chyla Hill looks in that direction now, but it's an offensive foul on Darcy Garvin.
Penetration is unable to contain penetration at the moment, the Chinese Taipei. Whether the reason that they're in the foul trouble already in the penalty, the reason that Australia had that huge 11-0 run is there's just been unable to contain dribble.
So Lin hands over. Cheng gives it up as well, as we see Chen Mong-Shin for the first time. And good pressure and active hands. Well done there by Annalie Maley. Instant impact in the game when she checks in. He'll be into the game also along with Froling. So Nicholson the only starter on the floor for Australia at the moment. Maley, reverse wouldn't work for her. Chen Mong-Shin happy to get quickly up the floor. Liu. And Cheng, a little underside, now picks up the dribble and needs help. Shot clock rolls to 7. Again, the D was good from the Opals. Lin, Liu Ting, She goes to work, little off balance, makes it fit, nice finish.
Well, she is one of the best from this Chinese Taipei team at creating for herself. Her footwork is excellent when she picks the ball up. The second move always gives her the option. It made a tough one, but that's what she does.
Back-to-back baskets for Chinese Taipei. Shyla Hill fires from just beyond the foul line, off the mark. Good wrestle for the offensive board by Keely Froling, and she goes straight back to work and comes up with her first points in the game.
Well, you need impact off your bench, and everybody that's come off that Opal's bench at the moment has made an impact either end of the floor.
Well, interestingly, the bench actually outscored the starters last night for the Opals. Now an offensive foul is going to be called on Cheng Yi-shou.
Going to get a look at that second move here. It's a tough finish. Gets stopped just about, stays on balance and finishes the play. And there you can see, clearly late on the ball screen. Area of the game that...
A timeout called by Chinese Taipei. 2:44 left on the clock. It's 13-7 in favour of Australia at the moment. And Chinese Taipei just 3 of 11 from the field at 27%. They've had their problems. Good to the great defense being played by the Opals.
直接要球，球没有的话，这个5号是跟2号直接来随球，对不对？对，重点是这个球如果2号还没有上来之前，5号可不可以单边1对1？其实7号是不是都跟不到，懂吗？所以这个人有责任可以单边1对1，没有的话2号再上来是不是随球？记得无球边3号一定要在1号一发动的时候，这个上档不能忘啊！什么无球边都忘记要跑动位了。是前面阿芝跟丁丁都传了2个，林娟这边都是空档，不要忘记喽！加油加油！挡着我一定要不要抢我投3分，加油！1、2、3，你那个球。
Well, you mentioned it going into the timeout about their field goal percentages, and that's not them just missing shots. That's just the effort defensively. We talked about before the game how they were always in the passing lane. The Australians always high defensively, and they haven't been able to create an open look since the first minute of the game.
So Shyla Hill brings the Opals forward. Support of Bibby. Maley back to the top. Now Froling. 2.5 left in this opening quarter. Froling, a little out of control, may have travelled. That's the call from referee Paul Scaham. Third turnover for Australia. Chinese Taipei with 4 in that category. As Chen Mongxin brings them forward. Got beyond Shyla Hill, but a second effort was good to retrieve that. Dislodged the ball. Rochi has it. Maley struggled to find the handle initially. Back outside to Rochi. Turned down the open look to reset. Exploring. Nice pass. Froling. Well, just a little off balance, but Maley is there. Should have had the clean up too initially, but got it eventually. So back to an 8-point edge inside the last 2 minutes of an entertaining opening quarter. Trust you're enjoying our coverage around Australia and internationally. As Chen Mongxin works the ball down to the baseline. User-friendly roll for Chen Yan-u. She opens her
real quick
account.
tempo to this. I mean, it's... I think the depth the Australians will find themselves needing that bench depth.
Well, free throws nonetheless here. The points won't count.
Well, the penetration and a little 1 foot step back for the 2. They're having to work hard for everything they get at the moment, Chinese. And over the period of the game, that will just wear down them offensively.
As we know, the depth of the Australian team is significant as well. Everyone played last night. Annalie Maley played 9 minutes, which was the least of any player. And Lauren Nicholson played 23, which was the most. So they're fresh, they're fit, they're firing, they're playing to be noticed for the Olympic Games next year for the Australian coaching staff. They are hungry. It's not a great recipe for Chinese Taipei, but they're not going to let up. Pressure up the floor as we speak as well. Lil Shiye Hands over. Gets it back from Chen, firing, and she comes up with the goods as well. I like that. Her first points in the game.
Well, we talked about how high Australia were playing defensively. When they don't, that's what happens. If you find yourself underneath a screen, you're going to give them an easy look. Cannot go underneath screens against this team. Well, in fact, you can't really, unless you've got a scout that says a particular player. No one is really going under screens at the moment internationally. The ability to shoot the ball is so good.
Inside the last 60 seconds of the opening quarter. Cheng, hands over, Liu, Xie. Shot clock rolls to 5. She's picked up the dribble and got problems now. Chen Mongxin needs to get something happening. They were patient and they should be rewarded, but from close range, Cheng couldn't finish it. Here's Koenig, put on the accelerator. Rochi to her right, Maley to her left. She's shut down, but good enough to retrieve it. Bibby for Koenig. Only starter on the floor for the Opals at the moment. Here's Froling, puts it on the deck quickly and gets it done once more. Keely Froling now up to 6. Margin is 7. And Chinese Taipei can slow it down for the last play of this opening quarter. Chen Mongxin with it. Shovel pass inside for Cheng was good, but the defense from Australia has been fantastic. They shut them down on the quarter time buzzer as well. And at quarter time, the Opals lead it by 7 points. It's Australia 19, Chinese Taipei 12. I think a lot of what we expected, that defensive hustle and pressure from the Opals, terrific. And the challenge is now for Chinese Taipei to try and match it.
Well, you've just said it, that the challenge is to try and match it. And they gave you a quick look at what they can do if they're allowed to execute. That little flare screen to the open 3, their last score of the quarter, really does demonstrate if you take a possession off, they will get a good look. I mean, that's the start of the game where, again, short on the closeout. But most of the quarter was about Australia being the aggressive or the aggressor offensively. Their ability to penetrate and break the defense down really did hurt Chinese Taipei. And it wasn't until the timeout that they took later in the quarter that they actually managed to protect the middle of the floor, because they gave up a lot of middle penetration that the Australians really benefited from, both points-wise and in their ability to share the ball. The one thing that was interesting, and it may not be a problem for the Opals in this evening's game, but on 1 or 2 occasions when they have been beaten on the dribble, the decision not to help is obviously a part of the defensive rules. Everyone wants to be high on the floor, but they've been broken down a couple of times, and unfortunately for Chinese Taipei, they haven't completed pretty much open looks from close in. So it's going to be interesting to see if they make an adjustment on that.
Also, you can scan the QR code on your screen, download Courtside 1891 from the App Store or Google Play to watch every game live. Keep up with the latest news and enjoy all the stats you need, not just from the Asia Cup, but from FIBA tournaments all around the world. Get involved, you won't be disappointed. All sorts of information there. So the rebound count, 13-7. Something of a concern for Chinese Taipei, but certainly not unexpected. But
and that's the thing, Joe. It's not unexpected. They almost have to live with the fact that they're going to give up more offensive balls than they would want to, just as that's the way it is for them.
So possession arrow with Chinese Taipei as we get underway here in the second term. And the opening shot from Liu Xie off the money. Here's Maley running, height advantage, likes her chances, and draws a foul. And Chen Mongxin, it's going to be her first personal.
I mean, what a lot of people would argue or say, that she had the 2-on-1, she could have dumped it down, but the most important thing is she was really decisive. You know, took it to the ring hard, so she was going to get fouled if she couldn't score. And to be quite honest, since she's come on the floor, the one thing she's been is absolutely decisive.
As she's Great acquisition for the Opals. Open up a game high 8-point advantage here. Early stages of the second quarter. Wu now for Chen Mongxin, who goes to work, rattles around the rim, wouldn't fall. Mainly the rebound, and straight away she's charging up the floor. Kunick in support. Froling joining in, down on the low block, feeds Rochi. They haven't hit a three in the game so far, the Opals, but they've been selective with it. Just the 2 attempts so far. Shot clock 8. Well, the pass was picked off there. Active hands from Chen Yan-U, and she likes the look of the bucket and goes to work with another triple.
Well, if there's a trademark example of Chinese Taipei basketball, they had the 2-on-1, they had the opportunity. Nope, stop on the 3-point line, knock it down.
So just been credited with a 2-point shot there. The signal from the referee was to review that if they need to. Rochi for Froling, who wrestled off her defender from close range. She's disappointed she didn't finish, but she's drawn a foul on Cheng, and that's going to be her second personal. The Australian bigs, Froling and Scherf and Bibby, are so aggressive. They know that they have that edge in height, and they're going to make their opponents work for it.
And the big criticism of big sometimes is they don't use that advantage. They'll often settle for a mid-range jump shot. They might take a turnaround, but these guys today have been very aggressive getting to the ring.
We are here to review any time situation.
They're just going to have a look at the 3-point review.
Yes, they credited it too. Well, they're going to check that via the replay.
That's a 2. Step straight on the line.
You sure?
That's good refereeing.
Thank you. We confirm it's 2 points. Thank you.
I love the review. I think, and also for people at home, you know, sometimes they rely on guys like us to come up with interpretation of referee calls on. We're not referees as such, and we're going to be like them having an opinion. You get the review. Not only do they check it, which is the most important thing, but everybody, including the people at home, get a real good insight into the thinking that referees go through. And it's not an easy job. And these guys out here are obviously the best in the region because they've earned the place here on the floor.
Our referees in this game from Kazakhstan, Qatar and Lebanon. We have a review here in Australia, and if the coach wants a review and gets it right, they get to keep that review. But we should point out that here at the Asia Cup, the coaches get one review, and regardless of whether they're right or wrong, that's it.
Yeah, personally speaking, I don't like the fact you don't keep it if you're right.
I agree. That's the system that's in vogue here in the National Basketball League in Australia. Wu hands over. Liu Xie. Shot clock at 4. And Chen Yan-U needs to get busy. Short on the rim. And look at the Opals crash the boards there. Multiple numbers. Imagine back on the floor. Lob pass for Froling, who just steps between 2 defenders and adds 2 more. Australia has a game-high 10-point lead.
Oh, Tess Madgen knew that was there all the way down the floor. Gave the eyes to a teammate.
Baseline. Liu Xiyu. A whistle on the play, and a foul will send her to the free throw line. Only the 4th team foul in the game on Australia. And they're all individual fouls as well, as Bibby picks up her first.
Yeah, a little bit of body contact. If they didn't call that foul, you'd accept it. But what you love about that assist to the front of the ring is that Froling had run the floor. She'd gone the 90 feet, gets to the front of the ring, and the guard rewards that effort. She's going to run next time. She's going to keep running. She knows she's going to get rewarded for it.
First free throws in the game for Chinese Taipei. Australia are 8 of 10 from the stripe so far, so you can see the contrast in that. Imagine they share the ball around to Kunick and Bibby, and now Mailey looking for Froling. Good defense from Chen Yan-U there. Recognised what was unfolding and got across to deflect it out of court. Tess Madgen had just the 2 points last night, but it came with 7 assists, a game high, and she directed traffic as good as anyone could have. Bibby, catch and shoot off the inbound pass. Couldn't get it to go. Here's Mailey once more, working hard on the boards, giving it to the captain for 2 more.
Well, Mailey doesn't stop, does she? She's making so many contributions across the stat line.
Well, it's a trait that her father had as well when he played in the National Basketball League here in Australia. Paul Maley as well, the mailman, he never stopped. Here's Koenig. Couldn't finish it off. Well done, Chinese Taipei, to recover the situation and now off and running. Liu Shiye. Well done by Froling. Just to corral her for the moment. Here's Lin Uting. Around the perimeter they work at Chen Yen-U. Down low, Cheng Yishou. Back to the top, Chen Yen-U fires unsuccessfully. So shooting woes continue for Chinese Taipei, now 6 of 20. As Magin explores. Dump pass down low for Bibby, was well read and cut out there by Lin Uting. Now a chance for Hart. She's on the retreat to Lin. Wants to take Froling on to the foul line, nothing on offer. Long range attempt from Liu Shiye, and she comes up with a triple. So 3 of 8 from deep now. Almost half their field goals coming from deep for Chinese Taipei. Almost 4 minutes played in the second. Australia on top by 9. As Froling muscles her way in close and comes up with 2 more. So she's now up to 12 points to lead all scorers.
Chinese Taipei have started this this quarter being a little bit higher defensively and coming over the top. That's the Froling too. There's the first time they have played behind, and there's no point them playing behind.
Lin, baseline, tough shot. Again, she was well guarded. And Maley hands over to Magin. Koenig in the corner. They've got Froling posting up once more, which creates some space in the paint. Magin takes advantage of that and helps herself to 2 more. So she's got 7. Australia lead by a game-high 13.
Magin used her body so well. Just removed the defense from challenging the shot by leaning in.
Down low, Chen Yen-U. No room for the shot there, confronted by Magin. Look away pass to get Lin Uting a look, but she can't connect. Froling just can't control the rebound. It spills out of court. Both teams will be making substitutions.
I mean, looking forward to later in this competition, including tomorrow night. At the moment, especially in the start of this quarter, the penetration and the pass and the extra pass has created open looks for the Chinese Taipei. You know, against a more skilled opponent, that's going to worry Australia.
Lin Uting fires unsuccessfully. Froling with the rebound. 21 rebounds to 9 is the equation at the moment, as Maley did that athletically, and a nice finish with a non-preferred left hand.
Well, you talked before the game about players wanting to impress in terms of their contribution across this roster, and no one's done that better than her in this first half.
13-5 is the run for the Opals in this second quarter. Cheng Yishou puts it up. Chen Wei-an. C2 needed help. Shot clock to 2. They milk the clock right down, and they get an effective play as well as Chen Wei-an opens her account. Drew a foul in the process. Chance at a 3-point play.
Well, another example of contribution that Maley makes across the... She only has like 5 points, but she has an appearance in every 1 assist, 5 rebounds. You know, she's done pretty much every part of the game well.
So Chen Wei-an to the free throw line in her 3rd Asia Cup appearance. One of the more experienced players. So a little over 4 minutes out from half-time. 13 is the margin. Maley down low. Koenig will reject it. Well done, Liu Shiyu. That was good. Well done, Liu Shiyu. That was good defensive pressure, giving the Opals some of their own medicine.
And the difference, John, is really that the Opals do it every possession. Chinese Taipei do it every other possession. And that, when it gets to this level, that's the difference.
Good point you make. That's why it's 13, the spread at the moment. Lin Uting leads in the corner. They've been busy from deep, and they continue to have success as Chen Wei-an off the bench has an immediate impact.
See, some people watching will think, well, she was guarded. Well, she was late on guarding. She allowed the ball to get the ball above the eye line, and once it's up there, it doesn't matter where you are.
Shyla Hill unsuccessfully. Garvin couldn't keep it alive herself, but Maley joined in. Shot clock to 8 now as Koenig puts it on the deck, takes them on, and she ran into a roadblock as well. The D from Lin Ting was good, and the ball spills out of court. Australia will get it back.
See, that's the replay of the shot that they just made, and yep, technically little steps to close out, etc., but just not close enough on the catch.
Maley, well done Koenig, had a good steal and was strong with it and adds another 2 to her tally. She has 6 in the game. The Opals holding Chinese Taipei at arm's length for the moment. We started this quarter with a 7-point margin. Up to 12 now. Neat footwork inside from Lim, but it came to nothing, and Garvin feeds Hill. And they're keen to establish an inside presence here. Hill, Koenig, Nicholson around the perimeter. Shot clock to 10. The penetration comes now from Nicholson with problems. Under pressure. Did well to keep it alive in all that traffic. Then rejected by Liu Shiyu. And Chinese Taipei want an unsportsmanlike foul called here on Annalie Maley. The referee is not going to see it that way.
You can see why they're going to ask for it, but I think the foul was when it was still loose. Maybe a couple of years ago when they first brought in the new interpretation on the unsportsmanlike, maybe, but not anymore.
Foul count is 8-6 overall, Chinese Taipei. Australia's 6 fouls are all individual fouls, 6 different players. As the shot clock rolls to single digits here, elevation from Chen Wei-Art, who's had an impact, but not on that occasion. Koenig for Maley. Garvin making room down in the low block. Getting some treatment there from Cheng Yishao. And pushes her away and peels off another 2. First score in the game for Darcy Garvin. First field goal, I should say.
Interesting no call, I have to say.
Let them play.
Yeah, definitely let them play. There was looked like a defensive foul to start with and then a push-off.
They cancelled one another out.
Yeah.
Well, Nicholson colliding there with Lin as well. We're inside the last 2 minutes of the first half. Australia by 14. Being relentless, and Shyla Hill, the D just off balance, but from close range, worried out of the points. Koenig surrounded. Jump ball force, possession arrow with the Opals.
Yeah, it's a very interesting no call. Because I don't think it was much contact, but Garvin definitely extended the arm to create space.
Maley for Nicholson, wide open. Can't connect. Well done, Maley, with the offensive rebound. Gets it to Maddie Rocci. Uses Shyla Hill. She fires and comes up with a 3-pointer. First of the game for the Opals and arrives 90 seconds out from half-time. Chen Wei-An reluctant to go on with it. Chung back to Chen Wei-An again. This time she's off the mark.
And there's the difference, like Shyla Hill with the closeout. We're going to get a look at her 3, which she strokes. Great extension, great follow-through. When they made the shot over a few moments ago, she was a little short. She was right out, hand up early, didn't get a clear side of the ball. Much better adjustment by her.
Rocci goes on with the dribble, gets to the baseline, and Maddie Rocci comes up with his first score in the game.
So, John, they share the points so well. They're taking what the defense there. You get all high percentage options.
So they're operating very well as a team. They haven't been together long, and with a new coach as well. Shot clock here rolls to 5. Finish was very nice from Lin Ting. A touch of class from her. But they're pushing uphill at the moment, Chinese Taipei. Australia enjoying a healthy 17-point lead. Rocci, the bounce pass is deflected. Loose ball. You're going to have to be keen to get it from Australia, and they do. And Chung Chi-Fang gets it back from Liu Shiyu and can slow it down here for the last play. It's not their natural game to milk the clock. Lin inside, good look. Was just lost control of it, Chen Wei-an, and now a chance for Rochi. Shyla Hill will fire on the buzzer. Got it off just in time, no connection there, and halftime arrives here, and the Australian Opals enjoying a 17-point lead. It was Australia by 7 at quarter time, and at halftime it's Australia 41, Chinese Taipei 24. So a 22-12 second quarter there from Australia. And again, it all started at the defensive end.
Well, we made the point, we're going to get a look at the stats here, but we made the point, during that first half that Australia do it every possession and Chinese Taipei do it every other possession just to make the point. And that pretty much sums it up. I mean, there are great examples of Chinese Taipei coming over the top defensively, getting hands in lanes, breaking up plays, but it doesn't happen every single possession. And the second quarter best plays that we're going to have a look at, for every one of those or two of those plays by the Opals, there's one play by Chinese Taipei. And it's a little simplistic, but basically that's what it comes down to. At this level, you have to be relentless in your execution and in your physical effort. And if you take a possession off, your opponent will make you pay, and that's exactly what Australia have done to Chinese Taipei. The minutes are pretty evenly spread. The lowest number of minutes is down at around 5 to 6 minutes for Australia. They've gone deep. They've got contributions off the bench. And one of the things that I do like is if someone goes in and does really well and they're really making a positive contribution, coach leaves them in the game. Like Mali's the obvious person playing 14 minutes of that first half, but she was continually making contributions, always in the play, always defensively making it, and then she started to distribute the ball incredibly well. So she should be really happy with that first half.
10 of the 12 Australians have been on the floor, and 8 of them have scored. So it has been a good all-round team performance again from this multi-talented Australian Opals lineup, and that's why at halftime they are dictating terms, and at the major break it's 41-24 in favour of Australia over Chinese Taipei. Hope you can stay with us. We'll have more for you from the State Sports Centre here in Sydney, Australia at the Women's Asia Cup right after this.
You need character. You need chemistry.
FIBA Basketball World Cup is the peak of the game.
It's the toughest competition in the basketball world to win.
That is why I will be there.
Because when you win for one,
You win for all.
So some fresh players on the floor for both teams. Lin loses it. Oh, that is a clutch shot there from Chen. The little Hail Mary went all the way down the bottom of the net. This time feeds Mauli against Wu. The spin move was great. Back to Hakul. Really sharing the ball around here, Lebanon. Using up all the shot clock time, but Hahn's there to reject it. You just can't shoot on top of her. You cannot.
She did a great job. This is what the A division is about, the top division, and this is what one of the top teams in the world is about. This is what they need to aspire to.
And there's Hahn. Once again, just so dominant.
Vanessa De Jesus is putting on a show. She's knocked down 4 of 5 threes, and the Opals have got problems. Kunig exploring. Nicholson pass down low. Garvin working backdoor, adds another 2.
10 seconds left now, or just under 10 seconds now for Lebanon. Harkle just puts up a prayer. Oh my goodness! Rebecca Harkle points to her head. It's all about mindset here for Lebanon. They are right in this game. Now China really running with some tempo now. Mong Lee takes it all the way and one! And the China fans say, count that!
Legend Walker hesitates, needs a pass, finds a pass, Beck attacks it, drops it inside, Davidson is blocked, doesn't get the roll, and Korea will get the rebound, and they get it back, and Davidson puts down the two.
Miyazaki now, Motohashi, what a great feed!
Welcome back to the State Sports Centre here in Sydney at the Olympic Park. We are at half-time in the Day 2 game between Chinese Taipei and Australia. And the Opals, after winning by 71 points last night against the Philippines, lead by 17 at half-time. 41-24 is the equation. Mark Clark is my co-commentator. And we look at some of the numbers there, and you're just making the point, Mark, that whoever comes on has an impact, whether it be at the offense or defensive end. They're all contributing.
Well, and that's it's a great asset to have as a group. Also, it's a difficult, if that's the right word, thing for a coach at national team level to deal with, because everybody can play at national team level, for stating the obvious. But trying to get the right balance and trying to get the people to come in and contribute in the best way they can is not. It's underestimated sometimes as a coach of the national team. It's a different type of job, and in a very short turnaround time, these guys have done a really good job with this group, because there are people coming in here and sacrificing at times, sometimes their own options, And like Keely Frawling today, obviously with 12 points, she really has done a good job running the floor and has been rewarded by the guards, which is a great example of how they share the ball really well. But you made the point throughout that it starts at the defensive end, and possibly the most impressive thing against a team that stretches the floor is that from 1 to 5, this Opals team has been out guarding people, playing high on screens, and really making it difficult against a quick and a team that can shoot the basketball.
Well, Chinese Taipei opened their campaign last night with a 41-point loss to Japan. And Lin has 6 points at the moment. She was top scorer last night with 14. She had 6 boards and 4 assists. But they have been hamstrung a little by Cheng Yishou, who picked up 2 quick fouls and hasn't scored here at half-time. And she was important for them the last time these two sides met in 2021. She had 7.6 board, was able to create, was able to really present some problems for the Opals. And unfortunately, for a team ranked number 33 in the world like Chinese Taipei are, you need to have things going your way, and you just can't afford little things like that just make it so difficult.
Well, you need an almost perfect night. You need to shoot a very good percentage from the three-point line. You need to do something with your defense. There's all sorts of options they could employ, and I think they showed us in the second quarter in particular, when they get over the top of screens and when they play the game quick and they'll reach and they try and speed you up, they were good, but they just gave Australia to an extent, a head start in the game by giving up so much middle penetration, which was surprising in the sense that that was one of the areas I thought they would be able to at least contain penetration. The normal thing for this team, they struggle size-wise, but they've dealt with that up to a point in their normal way, but giving up middle penetration as often as they did is not good.
Coach and captain together there, orchestrating the plans, and it's been an interesting adjustment by the Opals here in Game 2, because last night against the Philippines, at halftime, they were 7 of 14 from long range. Tonight, Australia is 1 of 4. And, well, it's a nice weapon to have in the armoury when you can change up your plans, work on a different focus, and still come up with, at the moment, a 17-point lead at halftime.
Well, and again, that's the other thing about national team basketball. You should, and you have a chance to select different types of options to deal with different types of situations. And obviously, as this tournament progresses, Australia are going to obviously going to play Japan, but then they're going to have to face a China, and that's going to be a different challenge again with greater size and more versatility. So you've got to have those options, and you've got to have people who, the most important thing is you've got to have people who do their best thing. They don't have to compromise. When they've got to do their best thing and be happy doing their best thing, because they shouldn't have to force things at national team level. They look like they've got it at the moment because they've got different things from different people tonight than they had yesterday.
There's Lauren Scherf, who was impressive last night, finishing with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and interestingly hasn't had to score in this first half, despite Australia with that big advantage. And we saw Anneli Maley as well, 5 points, 7 rebounds for her, including 5 offensive rebounds. So she has been tenacious. That's her calling card, and she is bringing it here. And the Opals will be very optimistic about their chances in the second half. But Chinese Taipei, they're here with a great pedigree, as I mentioned. They played in 25 of the 30 Asia Cups, silver medalists in 72, and 8 times a bronze medalist, most recently in 2005. As we go in with Shannon Seabohm.
Okay, so if we get that, we'll take it, right? Darcy, you come back. Now we're playing off the pin down, okay? So come off, right? Then go and bury them inside. We've got a chance for that. If we don't like that, right? Don't throw it. Go into ball screen. You get out, okay? And then Tess, you can come back up and we're just back in our stuff. Right? Cool with that? Right? Lock into the D. So you're icy green, right? Everyone else is switched, right? So, right, let's go. Let's go.
Mark, he's a terrific story, Shannon Seabohm, because he is the reigning Women's National Basketball League championship-winning coach. I'll just pause.
起，往南冲，去吃到犯规，加油！1、2、3。
And just to finish on Shannon Seabohm, 3-time Women's National Basketball League Coach of the Year as well. But the first of those was in 2015 and last season as well. And while we're talking about good things, well, scan the QR code on your screen, download the Courtside 1891 from the App Store or Google Play. You can watch every game of the Asia Cup live and keep up with the latest news and enjoy all the stats you need as well. And not just from this tournament, but every FIBA tournament around the world. Check it out. It is well worth having a look at. And Shannon Seabohm, just to finish that point, was a good player in his own right, had a heart attack on court and was told by doctors that not to play again, went to coaching, and look where he is right now. So second half underway here. Chinese Taipei with a possession arrow, finding themselves down 17. As Lin puts it on the deck against Kunik. Again, she was unable to find a passage pass. Cheng. Back to Lin, who's their main offensive weapon, and that's why.
That's a little bit deja vu from yesterday. That's what she had to do yesterday. Japan chased her, but she was still capable of creating her own shot.
Garvin gets it from Nicholson. Australia back to their original starting five. Scherf, her first score in the game.
You mentioned she'd only scored. That's her first score. I was impressed with those 5 minutes though in the first half. Gets her feet outside the keyway, plays really well at the defensive end, and she's a big that doesn't mind getting out after it.
Chinese Taipei with their original five on the floor to start the second half as well. Magin to Scherf from close range. That looked a little too easy.
Well, penetration again, John. Penetration is really hurt this Chinese Taipei team. It's too easy to break the defense down.
Well, contact off the ball there. Quick move from Cheng Yishou down low, and she's fouled obviously by Lauren Scherf. They'd earn these from the free throw line as Lauren Scherf picks up her first personal.
Well, she hadn't scored. Now she's gone back-to-back Scherf on the offensive end. And she got beat then on the perimeter. But like the philosophy is you've got to get out, especially on teams like this. And then she didn't give anything easy up, and it was a pretty heavy foul. And therefore, you're still happy as a coach that she's actually following that philosophy of get out, contest. If you get beat, you've got to try and move your feet. Obviously, you've got to rely on your teammate and trust your teammate to help you as well. But if there was anyone you'd have thought might have been a little short on the closeouts, it would have been Scherf, but she's not. She's following the philosophy, and got to respect her for doing that. They're going to need her in this tournament as it progresses. There's some bodies she's going to have to go against.
Good to see Cheng on the scoreboard for Chinese Taipei as well. As Magin picks up the dribble, Garvin, Kunik, Scherf the target inside once more. Just overcooked it from close range. Rushed the shot a little. Magin wide open for the three. Margin out to a game-high 20. Inside the first 2 minutes of the third quarter. Han Sui hands over. This is Huang. And Huang, who started scoring for Chinese Taipei, comes up with the goods again.
Again, just give that extra half a step, and that's all they need.
Lin corrals the rebound, charges up the floor, Pun in support. They left her open, foot on the line. Can't connect nonetheless. And Kunik the rebound. Rebound number 9 for Alice Kunik. Lead that category in the game. As Magin picks up the dribble. Scherf posting up once more. That edge in size. Left-handed shot wouldn't work. Kept it alive with an offensive rebound. That goes back with a preferred right hand. That wouldn't work either. So Chinese Taipei catch a break. They're working hard for everything they can get at the moment. As Han hands over. Now back to Pun. Lin Ting, shot clock, single digits. Lin gets it back. Inside Kunik, confronted by Magin. Heavy contact there, no whistle. Both players slow to get back to their feet. That was a big collision. Here's Kunik putting it on the deck. Contact at that end as well. And free throws to come.
There's something. There has to be something. Magin was a little late. She was in the charge circle anyway. there's something. Down the other end, a lot less contact. Genuinely a foul, but a lot less contact, and Koenig's on the free throw line.
Conversation here with the referees, perhaps.
It's unnecessary contact. He is going to be a little bit tough here and here. Let's go for
check up.
Yeah, go for check. Ask for IRS.
IRS. Upgrade.
Did you show?
Yeah, I give permission.
Okay. IRS.
So they're going to check this to see if it's more than a common variety foul.
Unnecessary contact.
To review any time situation, personal foul, potential upgrading to unsportsmanlike foul. Confirm? Thank you.
Well, it is unnecessary contact.
What do you see?
Now they've seen it from the wrong side with the wrong hand.
Number 10. Free throws, number 10, and possession. We confirm it's unsportsmanlike foul.
So an unsportsmanlike foul it is against Panzui. And as the replay suggested, the bump really wasn't necessary. She can smile about it. There you heard it, just the continuation with the grab and the pull on the back there perhaps as well.
That's the unnecessary part. The contact was from the wrong side in the first place, but to hold on is unnecessary. You know, the only time it ever is necessary to stop the player falling and to try and help them, but not unusually when the referees have reviewed stuff. They're obviously right, because they, you know, the amount of work they do to stay on top of the game and in the interpretations is incredible.
So possession stays with the Opals. Nicholson in traffic. Garben, Madgen, Koenig in the corner, firing from three and finishing it off as well. So Koenig now has 10 points in the game to go with 9 boards. Game high 21-point lead as Lin fires unsuccessfully. Loose ball. Getting after it quickly there was Han. And they reset Pun. Takes on Nicholson. Crashes into Scherf. Free throws to come here. So Lauren Scherf picks up the foul. Her second personal. Becomes the first Australian player with multiple fouls. Anneli Maley checks in, and Lauren Nicholson will go to the bench. Nicholson is one of those players that you talk about having to sacrifice their game when they come to the national program. She's a free-scoring player, Lauren Nicholson, but her defensive prowess is what she brings to the table largely here for the Australian Opals, a former Defensive Player of the Year in the Women's National Basketball League and a 2-time championship winner. That leadership and experience invaluable. Almost 4 minutes played in the third. Madgen puts it on the deck. Lob pass for Scherf, who's being double teamed now. Quick whistle applied here. It's going to be second team foul on Chinese Taipei in this quarter. And a pushing foul, so we restart from the baseline. She's attracting plenty of attention, Lauren Scherf. Garben holding off an opponent with one hand. Madgen comes up with a loose ball. Now Scherf open and from close range adds another 2. So 6 in this quarter now for Lauren Scherf. The margin at 22. The other end, unable to connect Huang. As Alice Koenig does the ball handling duties. Garben, good seal down low with a height advantage. Muscles her way in from close range, and Garben adds 2 to her tally.
You really get rewarded for running. Getting to the front of the ring on this team. The more you get rewarded, the more you run.
15-8 is the run since half-time. And worrying signs for Chinese Taipei as Majin picks up the foul, her second personal. Garben there and Scherf just getting it done. And she's been patient tonight, Lauren Scherf. Likewise, Darcy Garben. Garben just one of 3 of the Opals who played at the World Cup 9 months ago here in Sydney, winning the bronze medal. Lin, good pass. Nice cut, excellent finish. We need more of that from Han. So middle stages of the third. Maley for Garben. Wrestling down low, Scherf. Plenty of contact, no whistle. Majin goes on with a dribble. Drew contact and earns a trip to the free throw line.
Gonna get a look at that front cut. Again, as soon as you start to step off and allow front cuts like that, it's just that you keep making the point. It's almost like every time Australia do it twice, that Chinese Taipei are doing it once. Hence, they're just against the pressure to being put under, they're not able to execute consistently.
So the Australian captain goes to the free throw line. She's actually going to be playing in the Women's National Basketball League here in Sydney next season when it starts in November, having moved from Melbourne. A new start for her. And the Australians have taken twice as many free throws now, 14-7. So inside the last 5 minutes of the third quarter. 24 is the spread. And no matter what Chinese Taipei are throwing at the Opals, they seem to have the answers. Luo, nice pass inside once more. Opens up the shot for Cheng and baseline. She comes up with the goods. Maley gets it from Majin. Goes back in that direction. Now Garben firing. It's off the mark. Funnily Maley with the offensive rebound with a nose for the ball. Garben, pass was deflected. Active hands in there from Cheng Yishou. As they work Lin an open look. Good in this scenario, but it rattled out of the rim. So long range, 5 of 16 now. Chinese Taipei at 31%. And Australia 3 of 8 have taken half as many shots. And Kunik arcs one up there. Here's Scherf. Gain size a telling factor. She's off to the free throw line again.
Got that replay of that, again, the inside out pass after the front cut. And you know that the Australian staff will break this down, because tomorrow they're going to play against a better team who play in a similar way, just at a higher level, as we get the timeout call. And if every time you rest back on your heels and allow the front cut, it's happened good things for Chinese Taipei. Tomorrow it's going to be more often, more consistent, more relentless from a better opponent.
And just talk early again so the guard, right, can chase them over, right, and just jam that up, because now they're just coming and slipping before we can get back to the inside of it, right? So stay on that, and again, keep a good level of ball pressure here so they can't just measure off passes and do those things, right? Against the zone, right, just go one up, right, back to that middle pick and roll, okay? So play the two-man game, right, pop. Now, when it comes back here, right, we've got guard there, sprint up and screen that player, roll. They're back in man-to-man once we do that, right? Then like treat it like switches. Come off, right? If this player helps up, throw, we can go high-low, we can attack closeout, otherwise lift, throw back, and then see him on the basket. Something good will show, right? Here we go.
And as you can see, Lauren Scherf, after that scoreless first half, has been a focus in term number 3. 6 points, 5 boards for her after delivering 17 points, a game-high 9 rebounds and 5 assists last night in the win against the Philippines. I'll be playing in the Women's National Basketball League here in Australia this season when it gets underway in November. She has a Latvian passport. She's off to France. And every time the bar's been lifted for Lauren Scherf, she's been able to get over it. So it'd be very interesting from an Australian point of view to see how she performs in Europe.
And John, following that up, arguably the French league is the week in, week out toughest league. I mean, there are better single teams in different leagues across Europe, but that French top division, there you don't take weeks off. It's a really, really competitive league. Great environment to play the game.
So Keely Frolling back into the game, replacing Scherf. Here's Garvin. Wants Shyla Heal involved once more. Shot clock rolls to single digits here. Heal trying to find an opening. None on offer for the moment. Feeds Rochi with 2 on the shot clock. Rochi fires. Can't connect. Frolling the offensive rebound. And on the retreat to reset here. Rochi. Garvin. 3-point attempt is short. Well done, Shyla Heal. Got after it. Tenacious work again from the Opals. They look inside for Frolling. Ambitious pass there from Garvin. Comes unstuck. And Lin Wuting is running for Chinese Taipei. Now it's Chung. Back to Lin. A little over 3 minutes out from three-quarter time. And Lin under pressure has lost it. Under pressure there from Shyla Hill. And they turn the ball over for the 7th time in the game.
Every single time someone's come off the Opals bench, like Frolling most recently, they're ready to play. She's got offensive rebounds on the first possession. As Hill makes the 2, but it's just so good when you've got guys ready to play, coming in making contributions. You're always getting energy off that bench.
Liu got it from Chung. In contact here. Annalie Maley suggesting there's a little bit of each happening there, but this is Shyla Hill going to work.
She's looked very good going to the hoop. I mean, she shot the free in the first half. Nice looking stroke, quick going to the basket. Still only 21.
It's already played WNBA. All tournament 5 at an under-17 World Championship as well for Australia when they took bronze medal. Shot clock rolls to 2 here. Tang exploring. Couldn't finish it. Gets her own rebound, though. That was good work to keep it alive. Liu fires and all the bottom of the net. So they're digging deep, Chinese Taipei. As Hill, left alone, fires from 2-point territory and comes up with another bucket. So she's got 7 in the game now. And the Opals have the answers each time they're challenged in any fashion. Lin. Liu, good pass inside. That's better ball movement.
Yeah, absolutely better ball movement.
So inside the last 2 minutes of the third. As Heel feeds Bibby in the corner. She lets fly. Can't finish it. And foul going to be called here on Chinese Taipei, yeah. So they're over the limit. Free throws to come.
Should be free throws, right?
Free throws to come. Yep. So they took 10 free throws in the first half, Australia. This is going to be their 7th and 8th. As Chung exits, replaced by Chen Mongxin. Maddie Rochi to the free throw line. And I mentioned she got to the free throw line in the Women's National Basketball League here in Australia last season, the second most out of any player. It's a creativity, and she's always exploring and can get to the free throw line. It's a great asset that she has. So 90 seconds out from three-quarter time. Australia by 25 after starting this term with a 17-point buffer. Luo Shiye feeds Wu. She's off the mark and following the rebound. The Bigs happy to do the ball carrying duties as well as they're briskly up the floor. Rochi in traffic. Here she is getting to the rack once more. Chance at a three-point play.
She must have heard you. I mean, the backcourt, anyone that's in this backcourt, whether they're different types of guards, it's the other point, but they're very, very explosive, and they've got lots of ways to break you down. Tomorrow's matchup, if people are thinking about coming to the game, if you're in Sydney, it's worth the trip because the quality on the floor is going to be impressive. If you can't get here, watch it, because Japan are a tough roster.
Indeed. And if you're in the vicinity in Sydney, it's a great evening of action. 2 games for $30. Tickets available. Check it out. You've got the number 3 ranked team in Australia and number 9 in Japan going at it in a crucial final pool game of Pool B at the Women's Asia Cup. Inside the last 60 seconds of this third quarter, high arc on the shot there from Liu Shiyu. And Heel uses Rochi. Back to Heel. Puts it on the deck, reaching in from behind. Chen Mongxin diffuses the situation for the moment. Opals have 11 on the shot clock.
See, and that's the type of defense I would have expected to see from Chinese Taipei more consistently, chasing the ball, trying to contain penetration.
Meili, beeline to the hoop because the Chinese Taipei player has taken contact to the head here and went down on the play, and it opened up the keyway, and only Meili said, well, we'll check that later. We'll see it here in replay, and it's Han who caught a stray arm, and Australian Opal certainly no malice involved, not even looking in the direction of where the contact was made. That doesn't make it any less painful.
No, it's a fair amount of concern from her teammates as well. And obviously from where we are with the camera, that we can't actually see how much or how bad the contact may have been, but
she's assisted.
Looks a little groggy.
Yeah, a little groggy. Eyes closed as she heads toward the bench. And as you can see, unsteady.
Yep.
They're going to have a review of this. Han Yuan. And my initial reaction was that the contact was incidental. What the player, Opal's player, not actually looking in the direction, and Han coming in from behind, trying to stay with her opponent.
It's more that she actually ran into the arm the other way, yeah.
From the baseline.
I don't think the Australian player would have even known she was there.
No, Keely Froling was the player in question. And just uncomfortable with a hit around that area. Any contact to the face or the head is concerning. And as you can see, working on the eye there of Han. Played at the Asia Cup last year as well. And had 7.6 rebounds in the game against Japan last night.
For me, it's a normal basketball play.
Normal basketball play, yeah.
Okay, let's go for out of bounds.
Thank you. We confirm that no action of violence.
Yeah, it's still none of the officials saw it enough to clearly say. So use of the review system again is they don't normally take very long. It normally gives them all the information they need. Possibly they need a couple more camera angles here. We've had a couple of reviews where it's been inconclusive because they need a couple more angles, but it should be a Chinese Taipei ball because Australia scored.
Yeah, Meili scored, so they should restart, and that is, we've got there eventually. A little over 30 seconds out from three-quarter time.
Showing the trap, but maybe they go over it.
Chen Mongxin in control, hands over to Chen Yen-U. Shot clock to single digits. Chen Wei-An fires unsuccessfully, and Meili for Maddie Rochi, and they'll slow it down for the last play here of this quarter. Australia with 29 points so far. It's the highest scoring third quarter that we've seen here at the tournament. And Rochi, well, that's off the mark from long range. And just 1.4 left on the clock here for Chinese Taipei to go the length of the floor if they so desire, and that is not in the equation for them. So three-quarter time arrives, and the Australian Opals, who led by 17 at halftime, turn for home with a 30-point edge. It's Australia 70, Chinese Taipei 40. So the lead continues to grow here. 29-16 was the scoring in that third quarter. And just Australia super efficient again.
Yeah, when you're in this situation, you're always going to be a little bit overcritical when you look at things, and shooting under 30% from the three-point line is not going to please them at all. But they've just been, well, impressive with a capital I, because in every aspect of the game, their execution at both ends of the floor has been impressive. Their ability to share the ball, they've demonstrated that again. And just taking advantage when they have the advantage. I think, as you said during commentary, last night they took a lot of threes, they made a lot of threes, they had advantage in that area and the ball was dropping. They've been much more aggressive tonight going to the hoop, much more aggressive in breaking down their own defender. And if there's been a disappointment for Chinese Taipei, it has been their inability to control and contain the ball. Normally they would have issues on the glass, normally they would have issues around the ring, but they have genuinely struggled to contain Australia, whoever the Australian player who has the ball, in situations such as that, being broken down on the dribble, allowing middle penetration.
要补位，这个动作要做完哦，懂哦？不要急，一动一动走，但是你要很明确你在跑什么位置，你在牵制哪个角度。加油！加油！加油！1、2、3，加油！
Well, a reminder, if you use the QR code on your screen, you can download Courtside 1891 from the App Store or Google Play and watch every game live here from the Women's Asia Cup. You can catch up with the latest news, keep up with the stats, enjoy the whole box and dice there. And not just from this Asia Cup tournament, all FIBA tournaments around the world. So check it out when you get a chance. Chinese Taipei with a possession arrow to get us underway here in the final quarter, finding themselves down by 30. And from close range, Liu Shiye deserved a little better there. All that onto the floor for here to start this last quarter as the Opals with 5 bench players to start this quarter. Rochi picks up the dribble. Shyla Hill has 4 on the shot clock here. Back to Rochi, who works inside the three-point line and makes no mistake.
Well, they definitely have a lot of offense. They have lots and lots of ways to hurt you.
A travelling violation called on Chen Mong-shin there. Matty Rochi up to 9 points in the game now. Had 6 points and 6 assists in 20 minutes last night. Sharing the ball carrying duties with the captain, Tess Madgen. Shyla Hill, look away past Maley, and whistle on the play. The overall foul count now 15-10. Chinese Taipei with most of those. And that has enabled the Opals to get to the free throw line 19 times so far, compared with 7. So Froling hands over to Maley. Now Rochi once more. Shot clock to 7. They look inside for Froling. The pass from Chantel Horvath. There's a little too much on it, and Australia turn it over for the 9th time. And to look for a positive for Chinese Taipei, that was one area they tidied up. They had 6 turnovers at half-time, and just 1 in that third quarter.
And that's not because Australia's let up at all.
Exactly, yes, they weathered that storm quite well. So they've improved in that area. If they can find a few more improvements here just to finish the game in style, that will hold them in good stead for their next game tomorrow. So 1 on the shot clock. They were patient with it, but in the end, Liu Xie really didn't get a high percentage look shot away. Rochi got it to Froling, who needed a second attempt, but adds to her tally. So she's up to 14 in the game now, Keely Froling. She leads all scorers. Imagine with 12 and Koenig with 10 of the others in double digits. Played 2 minutes in this final quarter. Quick penetration, but good D from Froling prevented Chen Mongxin from getting any points. And Maley muscles her way up the floor. Froling to Hill. And Shyla Hill dances into the paint and off glass, adds another 2. She's got 9 in the game.
We've made the point earlier, John, like every one of the bigs, every one of the forwards and bigs for Australia is not concerned about getting their feet out and playing. Like Froling did it last time, kept her in front, challenged the shot, got a piece of the shot. They're going to have to do that against a better opponent, but they look happy doing it.
Shot clock about to expire again, and they're forced into a tough shot. So the D from the Opals is relentless at the moment. Hill wants Froling once more, down low. Double team, lost the handle, good enough to scoop it back up, but couldn't get an effective shot away.
Another one of Hill to the ring, and Froling's got to kick that one back out. She drew 3, and like one of the most talented offensive threats that the Opals have, standing there like wide open on the 3-point line. Throw it out. You might even get it back if they close out hard.
Rochi for Hill, been busy. This time off the mark, and reaching in, Anneli Maley's going to pick up the foul there. It's going to be her 3rd personal.
And yes, she's one of those players that will pick up fouls because she is going after it every single time. You don't mind if she picks them up there, down there where she's going hard after the offensive board. I can't remember an unnecessary foul down this end from it.
Long-range attempt is short on the rim there from Huang Ling Chen, who started the game with a big triple. Here's Rochi. Somehow got it to Shyla Hill. Baseline. Space opens up. And finishing touches provided by Chantal Horvath for her first points in the game. So that's 9 unanswered points to start this final quarter now from the Opals.
Signs aren't good for Chinese Taipei. They really look worn down at the start of the fourth here. As you said, the defense is relentless. And they're a little tired. They're not getting as many looks or as many second chances. And that's what pressure does to you. 30 minutes of pressure they've had, and it's just worn them down.
Froling in traffic. Actually wrestles away free. Ball dislodged. Decides to step down to the baseline nonetheless, and quick finish. 16 now for Keely Froling. 9 boards as well. Anneli Maley with 15 rebounds, leading that category in the game. And to put it into context, Chinese Taipei have 17 boards as a team.
That sums it up.
Here's Rochi exploring coast to coast, rushes up the floor, gets the 2, draws a foul, chance at a 3-point play again for Maddie Rochi. Gets the rebound, charges off, saw an opening, liked her chances. And the foul called on Huang, it's her 3rd personal. So timeout called by Chinese Taipei here. Played almost 5 minutes and they haven't added to the 3-quarter time score.
为什么每次被打都是我们在被打？在这之前我可以先做什么准备？我连让他打到的机会都没有，懂吗？那我们刚刚在讲守底线2欧，所以林娟刚刚那个球，小雨是过进来，我不可以直接要人，然后让他去外面找这个球，我还是要自己出去。那再来，小雨这个球，丁丁只要处理球或阿芝处理球的时候， 给中锋、给前锋，你的角色因为给完球，中锋来被打这个事，你一定要先走，太久了，因为他给完球之后，他一定会走反边，他拿球要1对1，可是你还在边，你要先走掉，把这个单边先拉出来，空出来，让他们有单边的机会，加油！
See how the long-range shooting has dried up there for Chinese Taipei in the second half. It's dried up full stop here in the last quarter. They're none of 7 from the field. Haven't scored in almost 5 minutes of play. And the Australians have rattled on 13 extra points so far.
They just look a very tired team at the moment.
You see Maddie Rocci doing her job as well. Coming off the bench to support the captain, Tess Madgen. But she's a very accomplished player, Maddie Rocci. Werribee Jr. here from Victoria and has played for Australia under 17 and under 19 level in the past. And two-time championship winner in the Women's National Basketball League. And you just feel she's always in control and knows what's about to happen before it is happening. So she adds the extra. Margin is out, blowing out now, 44 with 14 unanswered points to start this last quarter. Chinese Taipei desperate for a bucket. They've got 6 on the shot clock. This is Pan feeding Chen Yang-u, and eventually they get one to drop.
Well, again, the difference that time was that they had harder cuts off the ball. The ball really didn't stick that much, and they got a shot in rhythm. Up until then, they've been playing off the ball very tired.
Horvat from close range adds another 2. So she's enjoying extended minutes here in this final quarter, now with 5 points in this term out of the 16 that the Opals have come up with. Chen Yan-u puts it on the deck. Oh, heavy contact there. Rocci went down. He'd have good position. No whistle on the play. Little over 4 minutes out from full time. Opals heading toward 2-0 start. Scherf in contact there with Chen Wei-an off the ball. And the look-away pass from Chen Yan-u. Well, she got it eventually to Huang, who missed what she should have made. Starting to get a little physical here at the moment as well, as Scherf helps herself to the rebound. 8 boards for her to go with 7 points. It's Rocci. Goes to Bibby in the corner, running out of room. Atwell for the first time on the floor tonight. Here's Scherf, shot clock to 5. Oh, Bibby just couldn't control the pass. Trickles out of court. Here's the contact on Rocci. And it was a solid collision there with Chen Yan-u. Pan Zhui hands over. Huang. They share the ball around. Shot clock to single digits. Apple playing good D on Chen Yan-u. Shot clock to 3. Look away pass. Pan just lost control of it, and now a chance for Rocci. Horvat to her right. Scherf joining in the middle. And Scherf turns around from close range. Couldn't get it initially. She's got it back for the Opals, and they can reset. So look inside once more for Scherf. And the ball out of court. Scherf thought she was impeded by the defence. Referees didn't see it that way.
Well, she was, but in the same way that contact has been happening pretty much the whole time. She's got a little bit caught up with that contact after that coming together off the ball for the last few possessions, which she's just got to forget that and move on.
Inside the last 3 minutes, Scherf did well there. Good defensive pressure. Bibby gets it to Atwell, looking for her first points. The layup wouldn't work. Ball knocked down out of court. Last touch by Bibby, and Chinese Taipei will get possession.
John, you made that point about people coming through the Australian national teams at 16s and 18s and everything else, and it's great for a program when you see that progression, so many players coming through, because it establishes culture, and that's the way they're going to play at every level, and everyone wants to aspire that you must be running a great program, and the clubs as well running great programs when players get on that ladder and go all the way through it.
Here's Lin, works to the baseline, quick release, wouldn't work for her. Atwell the rebound. So Amy Atwell and Chloe Bibby, teammates with the Perth Lynx in the Women's National Basketball League last season. The only two that haven't scored so far for the Opals. Horvat being busy. Well, she has been good. 7 in this last quarter on 3 of 3 shooting. Margin out to a game-high 45 now. As Lynn gets it back. Single digits on the shot clock for her. Wants help. Pun. Penetration. The spin was good. Finish even better. One of the best plays we've seen from her in this game. First field goal, in fact.
Richie takes her rest with unlimited 17.5 minutes, 12 points. She's been productive the whole time. She's contributed across the whole of the stat line. 4 rebounds, 3 assists. She's chipped in everywhere.
Shyla Hill exploring. Now Bibby goes back to her. She puts it on the deck. Tough shot, couldn't finish it. Offensive rebound on the putback. How about this quarter from Chantel Horvat? Now got 9 points, 3 boards in limited minutes. One of the rookies on this team. I haven't seen a lot of her in Australia, but what we have seen has been impressive, certainly at this tournament so far. Played in Poland last year. Spent 5 years at UCLA with a college career, and she's another who's come through our under-19 program, winning a bronze medal back in 2015.
That's just what you need if you're Chinese Taipei, isn't it? Someone coming in who hasn't played a lot, who's trying to impress when you're just trying to survive the rest of the game. But she's taken her advantage. Once you're given minutes, you've got to use them.
Well done at the defensive end as well by Horvat. She rejected Lin Ting. Shot clock to 1. They're going to have to get this up quickly. Huang off balance. Not surprisingly, the shot clock expires. This is in the last minute of action, and Australia are playing as if it's the first. Pass inside from Scherf, knocked down. Well done by Chen Wei-an. Fast break. Getting back, Scherf retrieves the situation with a block right in front of the Australian bench, and they're up as 1. Loving the defensive work. Bibby, overdue. I'll have to wait a little longer. Look at Scherf wrestle for the rebound, about 3rd in line. She comes up with it, and now Bibby from close range couldn't get it done.
Well, last minute of the game, Scherf blocks at 1 and runs the floor, gets on the offensive. You can't take a possession off if you want to be part of this team. And she's, again, impressed.
Shot clock, 3 seconds inside the game clock as we draw to a conclusion here in Sydney. And again, it's going to be in the last second of the shot clock that Chinese Taipei fire. Lauren Scherf, well, they don't need any more. They have done an excellent job, and they have won big for the second night in a row. Full time in Sydney, and the Opals have defeated Chinese Taipei here. The final scoreline, Australia 91 defeats Chinese Taipei 45. 21 points to 5 in the last quarter. They close it out in style, and for the second consecutive game, they keep their opponents to single digits in the last quarter. Mark, they, as you mentioned, relentless. They do not stop.
Relentless is the best word to sum them up. In terms of offensively, they move the ball, they run the floor relentlessly. If you don't get back, they score. Going the other way, relentless in the way that they close out. They force the ball, the rebound as a group, and rebound hard. And I think in the terms of the competition, that's an ideal game for him to play. The opponent has got better in the first 2 games, and now they play a great opponent tomorrow that also plays in a similar but a star with more options than Chinese Taipei when they come up against Japan tomorrow. But that's having to extend your defense against a team that shoots the ball is something they're going to have to do tomorrow, and do it again relentlessly. Rebound-wise, it was 68 rebounds. I mean, I knew it was going to be a big number, but 68 rebounds to 21. You highlighted it during commentary. One-way traffic the whole way. Froling had a really nice game. Both ends of the floor. Led the scorers with 16, but she's so much more than that, the way she runs the floor and shares the ball. The best plays of the 4th quarter. And it's for me, it's that they play within what, in a short space of time, they have rules and a system on the floor that they have all accepted and operate within, and therefore once you accept it, you can play within it. And they were impressive, whether you're Harvard coming in for extended minutes in the fourth or whether you're starting the game. Another good opportunity for coach, though, to get a look at different people in more extended minutes. That's always, there's nothing like doing that in competitive games. Preparation and practice are one thing. But Horvath, to an extent, was probably the star of the fourth quarter. Did a super job all round.
And she sure was. Horvath finished with 10 points in 10 minutes, 4 of 5 shooting, 3 boards as well.
Yeah.
Just able to come in and have an impact.
I mean, one of the things that I wouldn't say it's not a concern and it's not overly, but it's just noting that only 17 assists in that sort of performance. They really did do a lot one-on-one as you get a look at the group table.
Yes, Australia and Japan, as expected, 2 highest ranked teams in Group B. Go through the first 2 games undefeated. Sets up a mouth-watering contest this time tomorrow night here in Sydney. Japan big winners earlier, and Australia continue on their way in impressive style. And you get the impression there's plenty left in the tank here, and really going to enjoy the contest against Japan tomorrow, who have won the last 5 Asia Cups, and get more of an indication of where they're at. But I'm sure they're looking forward to this. They couldn't be in better form coming into it, Mark.
Well, no, and I think just to underline the quality of this tournament, you've got a medalist from last year's World Championship, you've got a silver medalist from the last Olympics going off in a group game at the Asia Cup, and that tells you all you need to know about the quality of the competition. It's a mouth-watering tie. As you say, Australia couldn't be in better shape, but they're playing against a great opponent.
Yep. Well, it's a conversation for another time, but the rise of the Asian region, 3 teams in the top 9 in the competition in the world, and the Americas have 3 in the top 10. They do have the dominant force, and of course Europe 4 of 8 are probably still the number 1, but it's been impressive, and with these teams here in Australia. Come and support it if you're in Sydney. Get out to a game. I'm sure you will enjoy it. So full time here in Sydney, and Australia have won by 46 points. They've done the job 91-45. Trust you've enjoyed our coverage here. On behalf of my co-commentator Mark Clark, all our hard-working crew behind the scenes, I'm John Casey. We look forward to your company again tomorrow night here when the Asia Cup continues.
Cheer for all.